Hey everyone, Kevin here. As the saying goes, you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. This is why onboarding at any company is so important, and it is astonishing how many businesses and institutions out there have rather poor onboarding practices. I mean, you should want your employees to succeed, right? And success can be measured in many different ways, like making sure that a new worker can navigate the company culture and meet expectations. As a former educator, I can attest to what happens when this process is entirely ignored. Teachers don't have any onboarding at all. And that actually surprises a lot of people, particularly when I mention it in the business world, because as I always get the question, then how do teachers know what to do? Answer: they don't. When we got hired, we almost always had that one meeting with the principal where we were given our keys and a useless handbook on irrelevant topics, shown to our classroom, and essentially told to have fun. Which is ironic, considering that process alone ensured that we wouldn't have any fun. As a result, I remember in every teaching job I ever had that there was a very little support outside of my immediate supervisor. I didn't know where the bathrooms were. I didn't know where I could make copies. Wasn't taught how to use the various computer programs that I needed to know or where to park, and was rarely, if ever, given help when I asked for it. When you stop and think about it, this mentality doesn't make much sense because all it does is set people up to fail. And when you do that, you end up with retention problems when those same workers inevitably leave, just like what's happening in education right now. But with all that being said, we kind of arrive at the point of what I wanted to talk about today. Every company should have a 30, 60, 90-day plan for new hires. This way, employees know what they will be learning when they start, what is expected of them, and when they must know it by. Plus, it gives a company the option to not continue with a new employee who can't meet those expectations by a certain date. During these training sessions, new hires should learn the cultural norms and the intricacies of the job. Every company has its own organizational culture with different values, communication processes, error reporting, and any other important formal policies. By doing so, you give employees the tools to not only do their job effectively right out of the gate, but also to represent the company in a positive way. You wouldn't hire a customer success agent and then immediately put them on the phone with an angry customer, would you? No, you would train them first so that they are able to be a positive image for the business and be able to rapidly solve the problems they are presented with on a daily basis. Same with hiring someone to work at a fast food restaurant and not teaching them how to appropriately use the fryer, resulting in both poor food quality and possible OSHA violations from the worker getting severely burned. Businesses want to create a brand and be able to market that. And without a clear onboarding process to ensure a unified vision, no one but the company's top leaders will understand it. Teachers can relate to this a lot, but I'm sure anyone listening has been in a job where after a week, you still had no idea what the heck you were supposed to be doing, and your support seemed kind of lackluster. Amy Hirsch Robinson put this really well when she said, onboarding is a magic moment when new employees decide to stay engaged or become disengaged. New hires who experience bad onboarding, like I did as a teacher, ultimately will conclude that taking the job was a mistake and will leave. This is why I find that way too many companies focus exclusively on recruitment rather than on onboarding or retention and end up always trying to fill positions but constantly finding that people don't stay in them very long. I had an interview recently where I was essentially told by a company that if there ever is a problem, you need to suck it up and deal with it because leaving reflects really badly on you. That was clearly a crimson red flag, and I knew I didn't want to work for that company because they obviously didn't care to focus on their workers' experience or invest in their career development in the role, instead just wanting to get everything out of a worker that they could until they dropped. People want to grow and need to be given a path to not only contribute to organizational success, but also advance their own skills and career. This is one of the main reasons I left teaching. It was a stagnant job with no career growth and became an ID where I'm able to be creative, learn new things, and build these very same onboarding and growth trainings that allowed others to thrive. Onboarding is vitally important to a company's longevity, but also in creating loyal workers who believe in your brand, stay more long term in the role, boost your productivity, and feel like they have a good work life balance with a normal amount of stress. Don't think that people will stay in a bad or confusing environment just because they need the money, because they won't. Invest in your workers, and it will pay dividends in the long run. Well, guys, that's all for now. So thanks for listening, and as always, I'm here to help should you ever need it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe too. It helps tremendously. Until then, see you next time.